All right, looks like we're live. So we might as well be live. I think we are live. I trust it. It says so. So we're live with you guys, hanging out here on a Wednesday, Bandwagon Wednesday around these parts. You guys know what to do. The early arrivals, you give us hearts, you give us thumbs up, you tell us the audio is good, the video is good, and then we get on down the road and we have a good broadcast. We have fun. We talk Texas Tech and West Texas and bandwagons. You're on. Also, we'll pick up underrated things that are underrated from yesterday. We flew right over that. The holiday week is still throwing me off, I think. Use the United Supermarkets text line 806-772-0197 if you're joining us on Twitter and or the YouTube live feed as we hang out here in the Arctic Air studios. Brought to you tonight, Gators Bayou 98th and Quaker. Watch the game Saturday. Go to brunch on Sunday. You may need the brunch on Sunday for various reasons. You could be celebrating so much Saturday night that you need a little Cajun brunch, or you just need some Cajun brunch. Also by the Shropshire Agency, West Texas Independent, just like you are. Indeed, he said, clearing his throat. Allergy-ridden fool today. The talking box is on. Damon, hi there. Craig, Glenn's in. Chris is in. You guys that are filing in on Twitter and YouTube, like we said, use that United Supermarkets text line. 806-772-0197. What were they doing today? They were doing some sort of garlic butter pork chop thing that I saw that I put there on the Facebook page. I'm like, yeah, you've got my attention. You've got my attention. Absolutely. So we'll let a few more folks get in. Simultaneous beverage sip with you guys. And we'll get this train down the track on a Bandwagon Wednesday. The ones you're on, the ones that you're off. Hi there, Joe. Greetings from the beautiful South Plains. Back to you, sweet home, Alabama. We feeling good? Everybody feeling good today? Feeling up to the challenge? Are you going to have good conversation? We're about to find out because it's going to be up to you. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. You start your morning there. Question of the day, good feedback, Raiderland hot links, cool stuff that you want to start your day with every morning at TheRaiderland.com. Coming to you from the United Supermarkets text line. I'm staring right at it. 806-772-0197 on the United Supermarkets text line to get in on Twitter and on YouTube. That way we see your comments. We're in the Arctic Air studios today. The air Arctic. The air outside, not so Arctic. Looks like 2 more days of 100-degree temperatures, then seasonal, maybe even below seasonal. And then perhaps, just maybe, we ease our way into fall here on the South Plains. If your air, though, is not Arctic, call the bear, callthebear.com. Also brought to you by Gators Bayou. We were talking about that when we jumped on here tonight. They've got the Sunday brunch is back. Every Sunday, good Cajun stuff, spicy shrimp and grits. They got some cool muffaletta-style sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches. Just need to check it out yourself. And then we mentioned it as well, the Shropshire Agency, independent, West Texas owned. Golly, are we going on 65? Are we over 65 years? I need to double check with Jeff. Get on their Facebook page for the Shropshire Agency. A lot of cool stuff there. They're doing things every day to try to help your business and your family work a little bit better. All right, let's do it. Bandwagons, you're on. Bandwagons, you're off. That's how this works, sports or otherwise. We're on certain bandwagons. We're not on certain bandwagons. Yesterday, we should have done what's underrated because Tuesday is maybe the most underrated day of the week. I was thrown off, freely admit, by Monday, Labor Day, and everything else. Got me out of it. So tonight, you can also throw in things that are underrated. We'll allow that. Ask Coach Hyatt segment from the radio show. We started it about a year or so ago with Joey McGuire. Since we couldn't be at the media day that day, we just had you guys ask me questions. We continue that. It'll probably be Wednesdays that we do Ask Coach Hyatt. For those who don't know, here's how it works. You ask me a generic question. I, as a generic coach, will answer your generic question. Do not ask me questions for Joey McGuire. Either ask him or just ask a question like that. But I'm not playing the role of Joey McGuire. I'm Coach Hyatt, generic coach. giving you generic answers. And then what else? Hey, there's football game Saturday. And a lot of people have been asking me, how did Saturday affect how you viewed this game? And it really doesn't. I had Texas Tech probably as about a 7 to 9 point dog on my board 2 weeks ago. That's really kind of where I view them right now. This is, without a doubt, the most talented, explosive offensive team that Texas Tech will play this year. Probably the most complete team Texas Tech will play this year. Had Texas Tech won by 21 in Wyoming or lost by 21, that would not have changed how I viewed this matchup. Now we come into the game, though, with some extra interesting storylines as Texas Tech does try to bounce back from a lackluster performance there in Wyoming. So all of that out there. Chris says the fair is coming soon. Yes. Rain not far behind. Looks like rain next week. My son is going to be one bent out of shape. You know what? They've been working hard building their homecoming bonfire for weeks and weeks. And it'll probably be either Tuesday or Wednesday next week. They have a very early homecoming this year. And what are the odds that this year it would rain? If I'm answering as Coach Hyatt, no telling what will come out of your mouth. You got that right. Makes it interesting for everybody involved. Hey there, Michael. Hey there, Val. Glad you guys are joining in. You guys who are joining us on Twitter and on YouTube, use the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. Get your questions, comments in. Otherwise, we won't see your questions. We utilize third-party streaming so we can use multiple platforms, and there's just no way to see everything all in one place. Hence the old text line from radio days gone by that we do there. So we got bandwagons. Ask your questions. I am a one-man band this week of turn up the heat. I want it to be hot Saturday. Tech should have advantage of weather and of elevation. Any ups, or perhaps Chris means UPS, for just being at home. Redefine your question. Ask me a better question, and I'll give you a better answer on what you may be looking for right there. Certainly am off a couple of bandwagons. Not that I was ever really on it, but yeah, definitely off just this hideous year of allergies. The worst I've had in a long time, and I get them bad. And this year it has just been never-ending. Really, really not enjoyable. Cracked cylinder heads. Not on that bandwagon right now. And it kind of dovetails, not on the weeds bandwagon. And one more bandwagon that we are certainly off as this week has gone on from Saturday. I'll read what I wrote on the website. I am off radio and music industry folks saying all these great things about Jimmy Buffett and his impact on society and music in the world. These are the same folks who wouldn't play his records on the radio for decades. I've got no use for them. There you go. So one of the things that I am off. Any advantage for being at home? Yeah, there's a big advantage for being at home. Huge advantage for being at home. You're at home. Texas Tech played well at home last year. It'll help. If this were on the road, it'd probably be a 14, 17-point game in my book. Their speed, yeah, they're really fast. Joey McGuire, this coaching staff, says this is a much faster team than last year, talking about Texas Tech, that they are building towards a speed team. Well, you got a good time to show it because you didn't see that advantage in Laramie. So maybe you can't run fast in the thin air. That doesn't make any sense. Off the United Supermarkets text line tonight, it's Bandwagon Wednesday, the ones you're on, the ones you're off. You can give us things that are underrated. We used to do that on Tuesdays. I screwed that one up. Short week, weird. And then, of course, ask Coach Hyatt. I play the role of a generic coach. Ask me generic questions. If you got questions for McGuire, just say it. Texter wants to know if we get blown out and the offense sputters like it did last week. In many games last year, will Kitley's says be numbered? Probably means days. Autocorrect's a brutal thing. No. No. Joey McGuire will evaluate at the end of the year. Tim DeRuyter, Zach Kittley, Stephen Hamby. He will evaluate the entire coaching staff. I will say this, that he probably remembers quite well what happened with the Baylor coaching staff and a fairly quick change on offensive coordinator to BYU's offensive coordinator. What's his name? Who was in place for the big run 2 years ago? Foster? That doesn't sound right. That they made I think that was after 1 year. So, one game. And it sputtered a lot last year, and it sputtered some, and they didn't have the players, and I believe that. And you played 3 quarterbacks. So last year is last year. This year, Jeff Grimes. Thank you. I don't know where Foster came from. So are his days numbered? No. Not right now. Alan says, or James says, I'm on the deer season bandwagon, just not by one hitting my wife's car. Your wife hit it. Hold on. A deer hit your wife, or your wife hit a deer? These are two vastly different things. Elusive little suckers, aren't they? Alan, I am currently east of Throckmorton, where you are dove hunting. My bandwagon this week, dove wrapped with bacon and jalapenos. We've had a lot of dove hunters out around our area here the last few days. I ain't got nothing against it. Whatever, that's cool. Dove and or quail, it really does seem like you've got to work so hard to make it palatable that you've got to do so much stuff to it, this and that and everything else. I just get a steak. Chris, I'm off the bandwagon on hearing the excuse about the altitude in Wyoming. Who's using that? Anybody using that? I hope you hadn't heard it around here. But if they're going to talk about the Wyoming altitude, elevation, actually. Let's say elevation. Planes have altitude. You're on elevation. Elevation is the word you're looking for. It's 420 feet to 3,400 feet for Oregon to here. Let's talk about that. 70 degrees there. It's going to be 100 degrees here. Can't shoot a steak. You can if you aim well. Dove, too much work, little reward. The deer hits your wife. Dumb deer. Good Lord. Jumped out of nowhere. You guys can get on the United Supermarkets. Text line 806-772-0197. United Supermarkets, Amigos, and Market Street, all around the area. Huge, great supporters of Texas Tech. There's one grocery store that has their name on stuff at Tech. There's one that doesn't. You can make your own choice. Michael, Coach Hyatt, if your players wanted to go to Dairy Queen in Seminole for dinner, what would you tell them? Seminole? Dairy Queen? Hey, belt buster, hunger buster, knock yourself out, get the steak fingers. I would stay away from the little taco deal, even though the DQ tacos are fantastic. Do you remember the old commercials with the T brand on it, the Texas tacos, and they'd brand that crispy taco shell? I could watch Don Williams back in the old days on the Williams and Hyatt show. We'd go to break. Okay, so Don would show up, 5 o'clock. It didn't matter whether the show started at 5, at 4, at 3. 5 o'clock Don, into the studio, and he would invariably bring his supper with him. And it was fantastic, amazing, and scary at times to watch him eat an entire meal from somewhere in a 2.5, 3.5 minute break. Yeah, stay away from the tacos. The meat might be a little greasy, but I think you can handle that. Can't believe the deer hit the car. Hey, Sanford out there today. Gary, Baylor players from Lubbock getting a lot of press this week will root for the Hubsters. Sorry, Robertson. The Lubbock Cooper kid, I just blanked out on his name, so I got a couple on their roster. I've not heard any updated word from Texas Tech on transfer news, and I can't remember if McGuire spoke to that specifically Monday at the press conference or not. I don't believe he did. And I don't believe we've had any eligibility news updates or anything. I was double checking something really quick. So, yeah. Also, Utah needs to be humbled. What's going on with Utah? Like the whole state? Do we have an uprising again? Are we having problems with the separatists one more time in Utah? Send the feds out there once again, get them under control. That's just the way those people are. They've been that way for years. Things that are underrated. Normally, this is a Tuesday deal. I screwed it up. You can give us things that are underrated. Bandwagons you are on, bandwagons that you are off. I am on the bandwagon that Texas Tech football will look better Saturday night than they did against Wyoming. I think they'll play better. I think they'll look better. And I think they'll probably lose. But I think they'll look better. You could very well walk away from Jones Stadium Saturday night feeling better after that loss, than you might have felt after a close win in Laramie. On the daily bandwagon, starting quarterback for Army. Is that Denver City? No. Is that right? Where is that kid from? Am I dreaming it was Denver City? Help me out there. Joe agrees on each point. Thank you. We appreciate it. Abernathy. Thank you. Abernathy. I don't know why I was thinking Denver City. Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool. Off the United Supermarket text line. The feds can't go to Utah. They're too busy trying to hunt down. I love voice to text. So he wants to say because they're trying to hunt down January 6 people, they did nothing wrong. It comes out Jam 6 people. Remember Jam 6 was a very popular band in the late 80s. They were a techno funk band out of Houston, out of the industrial club scene from Houston. The good old Jam 6. I don't know if you remember those guys. I remember DJing at the basement and doing that with KTXT back in the day. Gary says, I need to host a Burning Man festival at the Hyatt Estate. Man, I saw that sort of stuff and, the radical whatever, all this thing going on. And I'm like, those people wouldn't last 10 minutes at a Larry Joe Taylor concert. Melody Mountain Ranch. They wouldn't last 15 minutes at Larry Joe Taylor. Alan, I found a Market Street near you in DFW. Good. Bought some of the wonderful deli tortilla chips. As good as it gets. Seasoned just perfectly. Better than 99% of Mexican food restaurants. David Collier, who does KMAC 28 Sports. What time is it? Oh, yeah. People don't realize that I purposefully wait to go on until David is done with his sports so as not to erode his audience. I remember a video game called Toe Jam and Earl. It's very, very similar, I'm sure. Will Coach Prime be good for business in the Big 12 starting next year? They look like they got a lot of viewers. They did 7.2 million. This past week, Colorado made in ticket sales $300,000. Now, this is aside from all the donations there. This is just flat out in under a week what Colorado's made. You darn right he's great for business. Fox and what is Colorado? Is that ESPN this weekend? What is that on? The Colorado Nebraska game. NBC ESPN? I don't know. They're not. They weren't putting those games on TV because they thought the games were going to be good. They didn't put that game on Saturday with TCU. Fox again? Huh? Sure. Fox again. I guess so. Yeah. They didn't think it was going to be a good game. They thought it was going to be compelling. They thought it was going to be interesting. And they didn't think it was going to be interesting because Sonny Dykes is interesting. I've known Sonny forever. He's not that interesting. Great guy. And actually he is kind of interesting. But compared to Deion Sanders, he's not that interesting. So will it be good for the Big 12? Yeah. Big 12 ratings were pretty salty. Tickets for the Colorado and Huskers game in Boulder going for well above Taylor Swift concert tickets. I assume that's good. We will assume for now that's good. You can give us things that are underrated. Bandwagon Wednesday, the ones you're on, the ones you're off. I am on the bandwagon of Tech needs to make a bigger deal out of how hot it is in the elevation of Lubbock compared to Oregon. Signs everywhere. 3,300 feet and hotter than hell. Temperature. Just, start running ads in Eugene on their radio station and stuff. And just all it is, current temperature in Lubbock, Texas, 147 degrees, 212 on the turf. Play it up. For a week, 2 weeks, all I heard was elevation, Wyoming. Okay, 420 to 330, 70 degrees to 100 and whatever it's going to be on the turf, and it's going to be hotter than hell. Big numbers for the Big 12 TV again with Texas playing Alabama. That's not a Big 12 game. That's an SEC game. Is Deion the Taylor Swift of college football? Some are saying. A sexist would say, is Taylor Swift the Deion Sanders of pop music? Yeah. Chris, maybe I'm wrong. Did Deion not tell players at Colorado they had no place? Yeah, I thought P5 schools had said you cannot do through agree. He ran off everybody who could run off. If that's what you're talking about. He came in day one and said, the reason I'm here is because you guys really suck. Most of y'all don't deserve to be playing at a P5 school. You need to go. We're gonna drop you. You're not gonna play. You need to find a new place to play. We'll help you. And we're bringing in, and you're going to be better. And he did. He turned over the roster, and it's a better roster. I'm on the bandwagon of Deion showing off some receipts. He did. I'm also on the bandwagon. Ed Werder was the reporter that he was going after, who used to be big-time ESPN guy. Now he gets yelled at by Deion. Hey, it's not my job to believe in you, Deion. It's not my job as a reporter to believe on you. My job is to tell people what you believe, Deion. What do you believe? But a lot of sports reporters are candy asses. It's how they end up being sports reporters. Off the United Supermarkets text line, elevation shouldn't affect a well-conditioned athlete capable of receiving a full ride scholarship with NIL payola. I agree. That's why I don't think the altitude and the elevation affected Texas Tech last week. But all I hear is stuff like that. So Texas Tech should be doing that. Now, I think heat's different. Heat and elevate, heat's different. Heat is heat. Write that down. Somebody write that down. Joe, you write that down. Don Williams keeps his receipts when it comes to Joe Klatt. He keeps receipts on everybody else, too. You just don't always see it. But he do. Bandwagon Wednesday, corn tortillas need to be delivered to Oregon's hotel for their head coach. Did I miss a tortilla comment? I guess I did, probably. High elevation doesn't cause personal foul penalties. See, they were lightheaded. They couldn't think properly. They were lightheaded from the elevation, and they just lost their minds. 4 times out of the 5 penalties, they extended their drive into the red zone, resulting in opportunity for cheap points. I could not think properly because I'm not getting enough oxygens to my brains. Heat is heat. Heat and construction dust. Okay, by a show of hearts, hands, and otherwise, how many people have seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Okay? Just pound away if you've seen it, so I know what we're dealing with here. Do I remember the Eagles pickle game at Texas Stadium? They drank it for the Heat and beat the Cowboys, yeah. Magnesium. Potassium and magnesium. Duck mascot could have a stroke doing push-ups. EMT standby. Classic. Oregon head coach commented today that the tortillas won't bother him. He prefers flour over corn. Everybody's got their preference. Depends on what I'm eating. All right, so what would be really cool going back to the construction dust? You know the scene where they're building the Trojan rabbit? They're at the French castle. You English pig dogs. Now go where I'll be forced to taunt you a second time. So they're standing up there on the castle and they hear the construction noises going on of, heavy machinery and everything else. They should randomly play construction noises during the game. I mean, we do everything else on the speakers and we pipe in rock music. We do all this stuff. We don't let the going band play near enough. And you guys are assaulted with endless marketing ads and this and that and this contest and just randomly construction noises. Why not? Now, I'm not saying we have active construction going on, although it would be kind of cool if they were welding stuff down in the south end zone. If there was active welding going on, hard hat only. Yeah, just random construction noises. Why not? Welcome to Jones Stadium, 3,300 feet. Hotter than hell. Ongoing construction, hard hat area. Just an idea. I'm just here to help. You know, I'm just trying to help. That's all. The gorilla. Yeah. Hard hat should be littered through the Oregon sidelines during the game. Wrenches. Just random stuff. Am I going to watch the Tucker Carlson interview? Somebody wants to know. Probably not. I don't have anything against Tucker, but I'm busy. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, make them head to play here. Absolutely. Again, by stressing the fact that it's dangerous heat levels. I mean, they will fly in on Friday, and, they'll try to sequester them away. They're at the hotel and team hotel and everything. Everywhere should be just dangerous heat warning. Dangerous heat warning. You're in peril. You could die. All the newscast. Lead off with the heat. Friday. How hot were the locker rooms? Yeah, that's another thing. Turn off the AC. Or just have it a feeble, 80. Friday? No, Friday's not going to be cool. It's going to be 103 on Friday. Should we make sure the AC doesn't work? That'd be awful. That'd be awful. I'm not saying that. Plus, there's probably a whole lot of Texas Tech people. They're probably staying in the same hotel as well, so it wouldn't be good for anybody involved. Yeah, 101 tomorrow, 101, 102 on Friday, 97 to 99, depending on where you are, and that turf will be well over 100, about 120 on the turf. Pump their own gas for the charter buses. Do they know how to do that? I don't think they know how to do that. All right, last chance. Get in Bandwagon Wednesday. What's underrated? Ask Coach Hyatt questions. Tech, Oregon. Thoughts on the game, anything else. We will have this posted on the website so you can share it with friends and family. Coming up here in just a little bit, theraiderland.com. Either or Thursday tomorrow. Chris Lubbock is on ERCOT. The power may just go off anyways. That is true. Wait for it, people. Now that you're the ERCOTers, you're the first ones that are going to go out and the last ones that are going to get reconnected. Enjoy your choices. Enjoy the ERCOT. It'll be a whole lot of fun. One texter says the football team stay at the MCM Elegante. I think some may stay at the Overton as well. I'm not really sure. Conference teams, non-conference teams differ just a little bit. Yeah. Jerry, Coach Hyatt, first touchdown for Tech. Would you enjoy seeing the bench clear to celebrate? Makes no difference to me. Just get a touchdown. We'll be fine with that. Every individual can celebrate in their own way, in their own special pensive way. I don't believe in fake hokum. So, I just say, hey, you ought to be excited all the time. You ought to be excited and fired up. You only get to do this 12 times a year. 13 if you're lucky. 14 if you're really lucky. 15 if you're really, really lucky. If you got to have fake celebrations and all this jazz and whatnot, you can't get up and ready to go 15 times a year when you're 18 to 23 years old. I got no use for you on my team. I'll tell you that. You better be a self-starter. You'll find some other place to start. Was Wyoming just better than anyone thought? No. The Raiders not as good as some of us thought. Probably not. They're probably right where most people thought. 7, 8, 9 win team. Albert is watching. Bandwagon Wednesday would love to see Raider Red aim the shotgun at the Oregon mascot. They probably frown on that. Zach Kitley played high school football, and then he had basketball, and then he was grad assist at Texas Tech during his time there. The legendary son of Wes Kitley. Coach Hyatt, what do you tell the on-field reporter before the game? Watch out for the tortillas. Got to be careful of flying food around these parts, no matter where you are. I refuse to do the on-field interviews, pregame, postgame, and halftime. I pay the fine, and I really don't care. I don't got anything to say. I'm busy. I'm working. I don't come to you while you're doing a sportscast and try to ask you questions about how your sportscast is going. I'm working right now. I don't need you asking me questions about what I'm doing right now. So I've got a pre-made check that goes out every year. How much are we going to pay this year? I make $3 million a year. Think I give a damn about a $20,000 fine? You know what that is? That's a tax write-off for me. So there you go. Here you go. Then I get a strongly worded letter. Oh dear. Oh dear. A strongly worded letter of reprimand. I frame it. See that right there? This letter of reprimand. Popovich has great interviews. Yeah, he's a turd. Let's see. Now they're doing mid-quarter interviews. Horrible. Take a page out of Tadlock's handbook. What's that? Huh? I can't hear you. Okay, thanks. Will Under Armour use a Tech victory over Oregon to try and secure a new athletic contract? I hope not. I hope Tech dumps those people and gets with Adidas and wears the Mahomes collection going forward for the next 10 years. All right. We're into overtime, green-white checker territory. Bandwagon Wednesday. It's all there. The whole wall. Your Mark would have my back on the referendum. Probably so. Actually, Your Mark would probably, no, in Your Mark, he'd go the other direction. And he would want coaches mic'd up 24/7 and just mic them up live during the game and not even have to do an interview and just, hey, let's go down there live and listen in what they're doing right now. 7-second delay would be handy on that, by the way. Be very handy. All right, off the text line, let's see United Supermarkets text line 806-772-0197. Are we too worried about stripe outs? Shouldn't we be worried more about mustering up a field goal? Who's worried about the stripe out? Is there somebody worried about the stripe out? Are you worried about the stripe out? I'm vaguely aware of there being a stripe out. Has Oregon released their visitors' uniform? Or are they in all white? I hadn't seen anything if they have. I would assume that they'll wear some sort of light color, either, the silver or the white or like a light yellow or something, that they'll be in a light color. You'll be able to see them. Pretty confident that there'll be a pretty big difference between whatever Tech has on and whatever Oregon has on. Yesterday? No. 2 days ago, I think, on the Hot Links, I linked up some footage from 91 and 92 Tech and Oregon games. The Rich Brooks coaching show. Did anybody go through and watch some of that? Yeah! Go check some of that out. Red, black, or white? 33% chance. Absolutely. Play Johnny Cash. I got stripes. Yeah. Do you really get a letter and a fine? Yeah. If you violate the TV agreement, the interview agreement that the conference strikes with the television partners, you get a letter and a fine. It'd be great if we had one home and road uni like Alabama. I agree, and I know what it should be. Making you hungry with all of the hot links. And we'll have a lot tomorrow. Yeah, go back and check out the early 90s look that Oregon had going on back then. It was before they went completely crazy on their uniforms. Heck, I think one of the years they still had the old Donald Duck logo on the helmet. All right, we're going to shut it down. We want to thank everybody for joining us on the United Supermarket text line tonight. We also want to thank our great sponsors like Gators Bayou, 98th Slide in Lubbock, Shropshire Agency, and of course, the Arctic Air Studios. Where would we be without them? We got to say goodbye first to the people on Twitter and on, not Facebook, what is it? YouTube. I lose track of who's on what. In the broadcast, yes. In the broadcast.